many of Nigeria
contribution to Nigerian people.
Me, the I want all of them look into this in Nigeria. When you want to take steps every day to make this country a better place.
The new Nigeria is
indications telling them it's time to change.
All colors, shades, angles, and perspectives can be overwhelming in our present world of information overload. This is introducing Ground Zero. Ground Zero is a current affairs discussion phone-in program covering topical issues in the polity. The program is a platform for an in-depth analysis of trending issues by professionals, authorities in various fields, analysts, and key actors in the polity. Ground Zero gives the listener an opportunity to contribute to the discussion via phone call, SMS, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. From the conservatively serious to the ridiculously funny, Ground Zero accommodates them all. Professionals, urban contemporary businessmen and women, policymakers, public service workers, students, artisans, traders, and the in-between. Ground Zero comes up on Tuesdays from 5 to 6 p.m. and Saturdays 4 to 5 p.m. Ground Zero. This program is exclusive to Invicta 98.9 FM. Tune in.
It's another nice and lovely Saturday evening. You tuned into Invicta 98.9 FM. It's time for the Never Dull Moment program on radio that's talking about Ground Zero. Ground Zero is a program where we pick up topical issues in the polity, and with analysts and guests, we try to understand all of these things and bring better insight and in-depth into understanding all of these things. And today, on the program, Ground Zero is not going to be different, as we will be looking at trending issues in the polity. We'll also take time out to look at other developmental issues and, of course, how we can make the quality of life better for everybody while carrying everybody along. And at the end of the program, you, the listener, would have an opportunity to also add your voice to the conversation by letting us get your angle on the issues that we discussed on the program today. Today's edition is a bumper or heavily packed one, as I will be having a full house. Already 2 guests are seated. We are still expecting 2 more guests so that we can have a robust discussion. On the program today, we shall be looking at Senate passes electoral amendment bill amidst protest and walkout by reps. Also on the program today, we'll be looking at instruction coming from the National Broadcasting Commission ordering television and radio stations not to report details, in quote now, of bandits and kidnapping activities around. Then thirdly, on the program, we shall be looking at the quarterly strategic review meeting of stakeholders to mitigate social, cultural exclusion and stigmatization of the disability community. So like you heard, today's edition of the program is a bumper package. It's not just all about talking politics or current affairs or issues, but looking at other things that can make life better for everybody. My name is Ehis Adbon. Feel free to call me the Peacemaker. And my guest, some already seated, Eddie Ochigbo, is a veteran journalist and a media strategist. Eddie Ochigbo, you're welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you very much, Ehis, as always, and my lovely greetings to the listening public.
Okay. Also have already seated with me, Abubakar Adam, Vice Chairman, Joint National Association of Persons with Disability, JONA PWD. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hayes. As usual, it's my pleasure.
Okay. And we are expecting Stephen Wires, the head of Gender and Social Inclusion at CAPED, as Coalition of Association in Leadership, Peace, Empowerment and Development. And also, we are expecting Danjuma Abbas Dangwa, also from CAPED. And together we all will be looking at these issues. But first, I'd like you to know that you, the listener, can be a part of the program by going to the Invicta FM social media handles, starting from Facebook. Yes, the Facebook account of Invicta FM is Invicta FM Kaduna. Invicta FM Kaduna. You can also use the handle at Invicta FM on Facebook. So on Twitter, Instagram is at Invicta FM 989, at Invicta FM 989. Of course, the website of Invicta FM is www.invictafm.ng. You can watch the live video streaming of what we are doing in the studio now from anywhere you are in the world by going to the Invicta FM Facebook page, and you see the live video feeds there. Invicta FM Kaduna. Go there, add your voice to the conversation, and let's get talking. I'm not forgetting too that you can go to the program specific Twitter handle at Ground 0247, at Ground 0247. That's the Ground Zero Twitter handle where we can get the conversation going on. Let's have your comment, let's have your feel, and let's together move on the program. Okay, let me give you some background on what we'll be discussing today so that we can all be on the same page as we take the discussion forward. The Senate on Thursday passed Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2021 amidst a rancorous atmosphere after a disagreement over Clause 52 subsection 3 almost tore the red chambers apart. Some senators of the ruling All Progressive Congress APC kicked against the electronic transmission of results during the plenary session. The senators considered the bill, which had 158 clauses, clause by clause, until all clauses were dispensed with. Members of the All Progressive Congress in the Senate voted against electronic transmission of results. Okay, and Senator Sabi Abdullahi had sought for amendments to the clause, saying the commission may consider electronic transmission of results provided the national network coverage is adjudged to be adequate and secure by the National Communication Commission and approved by the National Assembly. Those are the two main things. NCC are judging that the coverage is adequate and secure, and the National Assembly approving. These are the two keywords that almost tore the upper chambers apart. This was against the amendment sought by Senator Basi Atbam, which was also the same as a recommendation as recommended by INEC committee that presented the report, which indicated that the commission may transmit results of elections by electronic means where and when practicable at its discretion. You see the two dissenting voices now. One, NCC and National Assembly would have to give a nod, while the other one, NBC, whose responsibility it is, would give when they judge it practicable. This is where the dissenting voices came in. During the voice vote, the nays had it as the minority leader challenged the ruling by the president of the Senate calling for an Order 73, which means division. That's everybody will come and vote and it will be counted and all of that. And that was what eventually what was done. And of course, we know what it is now. There was a disagreement and minority leader Inaya Abaribe called for a division that would require individual voting, which I already said, and we know what the outcome is. The Senate threw away the electronic transmission as originally proposed. Okay, that's for the first item. The second item is the National Broadcasting Commission has ordered television and radio stations in Nigeria not to divulge details of the activities of bandits, terrorists, and kidnappers in their reports. A letter dated July 7th by the National Broadcasting Commission directed radio and television stations not to glamorize the nefarious activities of insurgents during their daily newspaper reviews. As an unwritten custom, broadcast stations in Nigeria review newspaper headlines daily before their breakfast shows. But the NBC, in a letter dated July 7, 2021, issued to television and radio stations, stressed the need for caution by broadcasters while reporting security challenges in the country. The letter, titled Newspaper Review and Current Affairs Program, A Need for Caution, was signed by the Director Broadcast Monitoring, Francisca Ayeton, on behalf of the new Director General of the NBC, Balaribe Ilela. Okay, we'll move to the third item. Social and cultural exclusion, stigmatization has denied the disability community opportunities for economics, social, and human development, which has reduced participation of persons with disability in decision-making and denial of civil and political rights. Despite a huge effort by the state government in putting to an end poverty through programs and policies designed to address the vulnerability of the poorest residents in Kaduna State by mitigating their social and economic shocks through an inclusive, robust, realistic, and well-coordinated social protection system, which the floor that leaves no one below the poverty level. However, this can only be achieved if the implementation process is transparent, accountable, and encourages citizens' participation, particularly the intended vulnerable groups, to take ownership of the implementation process. To this end, the Coalition of Association for Leadership, Peace, Empowerment and Development, CAPED, and the Joint National Association of Persons with Disability held a quarterly strategic review meeting. We shall, on the program today, be looking at the outcome of the review meeting and what is the purpose for which the meeting was set and if we are doing well. But first, let's talk about the brouhaha at the National Assembly and the reactions of Nigerians to this particular issue. But meanwhile, while I was going through all of this, the other two guests that we are expecting stepped into the studio. So I want to say welcome to Dangwa Abbas Danjuma, or Danjuma Abbas Dangwa.
Thank you very much, Ahis, for having me, and my sincere apologies for being in here late than scheduled.
I also have with me Stephen Wires. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. Sincere apology for coming in late.
Well, apology accepted, but it's up to the listeners to also. Okay. I'll start from Eddie Ochigbo. The issues with the 2021 amended electoral bill, waiting the assent of the president, where electronic transmission was, where it is now the NCC and the National Assembly that will determine whether any particular election will be transmitted electronically. Now, what I clearly do not understand is that, is it as a whole or on a need to? Take, for example, my village in Ekpoma, if it does not have network coverage, and another village close to me, Irua, has. Is it that Irua can transmit theirs electronically and Ekpoma will not? Or what exactly are we saying? It's looking so cumbersome and so as if there are landmines dropped everywhere in this particular electoral amended electoral act. Eddie Ochigbo.
Thank you very much. I think the contradiction, surrounding that electoral bill started not from today. I'm sure you know the circumstances. All the efforts made by the civil society and many other critical stakeholders to ensure that electoral bill is amended to, first and foremost, to smoothen the process of elections, to make it easier, to make it transparent. That is the essence of all of this.
Yeah.
But even a few weeks to this position we find ourselves today, there were rumors that they had smuggled in a clause which outrightly said that transmission of results electronically will not be allowed even. Then it threw the entire National Assembly into commotion. They started denying it. Then the chairman, had to say, okay, we have put it on hold. Then they went back, rejig it, and did some kind of this thing. But that is the original form that clause took has been tampered with. When I say tampered with, it shows clearly that there's some sinister move by the political class, especially the members of the National Assembly, who are supposed to be people's representatives. To see how they can have a kind of leeway to rig elections. That is just what's happening. If the card reader is electronic, all other processes, even a registration, everything is allowed. Why the concern about that particular result? You know why?
No.
They want to write results for themselves. Because most of these people today have lost, the electorate have lost confidence in our political leadership, and they are looking for a way of how to circumvent the process and rig elections. That is just what it means, because these villages that you say they don't have network coverage. They have you send money to villages. There is no small hamlet today in Nigeria today that you don't have
POS points.
POS points are there.
Those electronic voting machines are the same thing. They are not different from a POS machine.
No, they think that Nigerians are fools. So I think it's a sinister plan to see how they can give themselves soft landing, because most of these people who are there at the National Assembly today, the electorate, they are prepared to vote them out because they have not represented the interests of the people. They have only represented their own interests, which is quite unfortunate. Now, how on earth would you want to say that the umpire will have another umpire? That is the INEC now will be. There will be referee.
The National Assembly
does it make sense? It makes us look stupid.
It's like the linesman being in charge of a game, not the referee.
It doesn't make sense. What are they afraid of? If you are voted out, go reorganize yourself. Try another time. Must you be in the National Assembly forever? Must you be? So I look at it as a plot by the people who are afraid of losing elections. They're pushing this further, but I think it's not going to fly. Nigerians will reject it. It's not going to fly.
Okay, that many Nigerians are already complaining is not something new now. But one dimension that it took, which many people don't feel quite comfortable with, was the way the whole political party, one political party decided not to accept, another political party decided to accept. Danjuma Abbas, what exactly is happening? Should it be like this?
Well, for me, first and foremost, I think that this bill is trying to turn around the name that the Independent National Electoral Commission, as the constitution of the Nigerian, as our constitution recognizes it, to maybe Nigeria's Electoral Commission. Because here now we're talking about the independence. The independence of this institution is being undermined by this piece of legislation. And I think that fundamentally, if it is not in tandem with the letters and spirits of the Constitution, I am certain that Nigerians will reject this bill. There is no way that this issue of ballot box snatching the kind of killings and mayhem, the bloodletting that happens on D-Day, elections day, which this transmission of results could easily, solve for us, is what the gladiators called politicians in the National Assembly, in a show of shame, are trying to stand up against. You see, even when you look at the votes that passed this bill, 52 in an assembly with 109 senators, which will mean that if you do away with this 52 on one side, there are 57 other senators who have not who are not part of it. 28 voted but 27 or thereabout abstained. These 27 that abstained, are they serving the interest of Nigerians? Are they serving, because the entire gimmick seems as if the current administration and the leadership of the National Assembly does not want to guarantee credible elections in Nigeria. In fact, this piece of legislation is doing nothing but sponsoring and supporting or promoting institutional rigging. There is no way you will say that the same people who are going to come into office through an electoral process are going to be the ones determining who and who or what it is the process should be like. And then if you even say that the MBC or NCC or whichever agency whom the same people who will elect to power are the ones who are appointing them to office to do their bidding, so to say. Because most of the time, how many institutions in this country have we even been able to hold to account to work in the interest of Nigerian citizens? I am dispassionately talking about this bill because if there is anything that seems to undermine the right of the Nigerian citizenry, is a bill that seeks to undermine the independence of INEC to promote credible, free and fair election. Remember that this bill, to the shame of this administration, has been lying down since 2018. The gimmicks around non-passage of this bill had been seen. The handwriting was right there on the wall long ago. And all of it is just because some people do not want to guarantee credible elections. If you allow for card readers, electronic card readers to happen at polling units, what are you talking about now about network connectivity that has to do with transmission of results? I think that this thing is actually unfounded. I think that the National Assembly, under the leadership of Ahmed Lawan and Femi Gbajagbamila, should be very careful about how they bring themselves to account in service to this nation. You cannot throw Nigeria in such a turmoil. The right of the citizens to select or elect in the leadership of this country is inalienable, and any attempt to undermine such rights and the independence of the institution that is recognized by the Constitution that we the people have accepted, is not in any way in the best interest of this country. And I think that such a self-serving bill should be rejected by the president should this bill again be concurred by the House of Representatives, because as it is today now, we now know that the Senate is elitist. The Senate does not really care about the welfare of the citizens. They do not care about the issue of violence that is happening at at polling units. They do not care about the fact that Nigerians are being disenfranchised day by day. All that they are concerned about is how they will return back to office. And I'm certain that from this conduct, it is clear that these people have not gotten the confidence of their own electorate to return back to the National Assembly come 2023, and they feel that putting together this kind of lacunas, this kind of loopholes that they can actually use to bypass all of the given norms for credible elections is what will take them to get back to power and continue to legislate on affairs that has to do with the Nigerian citizenry. And I think that it is to their collective shame. And it is also to the collective shame of the Nigerian citizenry should we take this kind of thing lying down.
Wow. It's like I said the other time, the vibe I got from all of this when I first heard about it was like me buying a 2018 Range Rover.
Yes.
Then getting a jockey to pull it.
Yes. Because you are saying that you don't want it.
The jockey must pull it. The donkey must pull it.
Yes.
Well, Eddie Ochibo, if it stands as it's where, what's your outlook for 2023 elections?
I know it's gloomy. If it stands as it's where, the 2023 is very, very gloomy because it's a plot. It's clearly a plot to rig elections, and the Nigerians will not accept it. There are ways to stop it. We can decide not to vote and boycott. If they like it, then just put themselves there, but not elected by us. So it's very, very gloomy. And like Martin has said, if the thing appears on the table of the president, like the way it is now, against the people's will, I call upon and appeal to Mr. President not to assent to that bill, because it's going to spell disaster for us. If you can if you can get if POS is working in all the remote villages, the most remote village in Nigeria today, you can go. What is the essence of saying that tying it to network coverage?
Okay, Eddie,
it's annoying.
Eddie, I think I know a little bit about technology.
Yes, so tell us.
I know that there's something called satellite phones.
Yes.
The backbone of any of all of this is dependent on the satellite transmission.
Yes. Cloud.
And what someone says is that if wherever you are that you can see the sun,
the cloud or the sun,
then you can transmit and receive.
Yes.
And well, Nigeria, I wouldn't know whether there are some villages in Nigeria where you can see the sun.
Oh no, there isn't any. There isn't any, but somewhere, somehow, let me say it like this.
Say gwari
gwari. I don't know if you are aware that the Maiduguri as a city, Maiduguri as a city has been cut off from power supply for over 3 months.
Yeah.
I think since January, sometime in January, the first power cut, and then later now, sometime in March, there was some repair that was done, and it didn't last up to 3 days. And the same, and what happened was it was vandalization, but vandalization of transmission lines. And so you see, when the Senate is talking about NCC or NBC or the National Assembly doing all this, you can see how they are providing room and a latitude for vandalization of public property for it to happen, to give an excuse that such things cannot be done. So I think that this particular provision should just be expunged.
Okay, quickly before let me just drop this. At the peak of the insecurity in Borno, you remember
we had about 82%.
They had 82% voter turnout.
Yeah,
there was no problem.
Yes.
I mean, and then there was war.
Yes.
And yet they conducted elections.
Yes.
Now there's no war. You say no, it's network. We tie it to network.
Yes.
Network. What kind of network are we talking about?
Quickly, before we rest this particular one, what was the major departure from the one that was presented before the president in 2018 and this one?
No, they say it was too close to election.
And then it was said that the Senate was trying to restrict INEC from choosing the dates for which elections should hold, and that was a challenge. I mean, besides that date issue about which elections should be before the other, whether the governorship elections before the presidential elections, that organization of elections, that timeline for this, that timeline for that was just a major issue. But besides that, there was nothing wrong with the bill.
No, the president insisted that it was too close to the elections. That was the major excuse he used not to assent.
Later, there was the issue of some draft issues around the
let us raise that up. It has been little time that we have. That will quickly run. Okay, let's quickly talk about the order by the NBC on broadcast organizations.
No. That essentially is just to gag the muzzle and gag the press.
Add some flesh to that.
Because if you say that newspaper reviews or we reporters, I'm a reporter.
Yeah.
I cover maybe a kidnap or bandit killings and all this. Perhaps they kill 30, 50 or let's say 15. Does it mean I will not mention the number of the people killed? That is what the information ministry is trying to do. That we should de-emphasize the truth. Once something is fact, we are supposed to report it. I don't see how, if 50 people are killed, that's essentially the headline.
Yeah.
So how do you change that if 50 people are actually killed? Then the reporter will say, no, there are some people killed. You don't mention anything, you make it vague. Reporting is not like that. Once you establish your fact, becomes news.
Yes.
Because in reporting, facts are sacred. It's not an opinion. It's what you have seen on the field that you report.
Yes.
I don't see why that will bring a lot of problem for reporters. And I think that the position taken by the Nigerian Guild of Editors, the NUJ, and then the other strong body, I've forgotten now. They have insisted. Press Council, the Press Council, they have insisted that there is no way you can gag the press. If you get your facts right, report it.
Yeah.
And if you report it, it must be reviewed.
Yeah.
So who do you hold responsible? If I report something and then the newspaper reviewers on air, they will report it. They will review it. I report the review. So that will not work.
Martins.
Let me say it from within the context of disaster risk reduction. Yeah. Now, in the event that you are saying that reportage of incidences that are causing monumental disaster, affecting livelihoods, moving people into poverty in just one night, that these things should not be reported. You are just saying that you are undermining the entire national early warning systems and the framework around which disaster risk can be reduced in Nigeria. And for me, I feel that the penchant that this administration has had about trying to regulate rather the media in this nation is just around one thing: is to promote is to ensure that there is we're having more uninformed citizens, that citizens should not be in the know, and then undermining the capacity and capability of citizens to participate in governance. And this is anti-people. There is no way that incidences are happening. If government have a superior story to tell us about how they are combating and surmounting the challenge, let them bring it on board. Let them do it. Look, the issue is not the press that is bringing about an uninspired citizenry in this country. It is the poor level of service delivery. And if anybody in government today wants anything to be resolved, let's focus on service delivery and let us stop talking about who is saying what and where. So long as these things are facts, there should be a place for truth in our society. Any effort to undermine that is not in the best interest of Nigerian people.
All right, we'll quickly take some messages. Right after that, we'll come back and continue this discussion. The program is Ground Zero on Invicta 98.9 FM. Okay, welcome back from that commercial timeout. The program is Ground Zero right here on Invicta 98.9 FM. Go straight now to look at the third item that we have built on the program today, which is the strategic meeting that was recently held in Kaduna. And this particular strategic meeting was on the instance of the Coalition of Association in Leadership, Peace, Empowerment, and Development. We have two persons representing that discussion here today. All right. Tell us about this particular strategic meeting. I'll start from Stephen Wires.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. The quarterly strategic review meeting was part of the resolution made during the step down of the social protection policy to the disability community organized by CARPED. As soon as the state government launched the state social protection policy, we organized a step down to ensure that this community is inclusively taken along in implementation process. So we hold that with them, which part of the resolution was to get the quarterly meeting where the community we come together and discuss their issues, challenges, and progress regarding issues around governance in Kaduna State. So basically, the quarterly strategic meeting was to dialogue and collaborate with relevant agencies that are driving social protection policy in Kaduna State.
Okay, I'll come to the Vice Chairman of the Joint National Association of Persons with Disability, Abubakar Adam. Now, I know there is a popular maxim, even in that particular segment, that you cannot do it on behalf of us without our involvement. Correct me.
Nothing for us without us.
Yes, nothing for us without us.
Yes.
Now, were you guys adequately represented at that quarterly meeting?
Yes, we were fully represented.
Okay.
Fully represented.
So, what does that meeting actually represent for the disability community?
Yes, thank you very much. We call that meeting strategic because we discuss itemized and articulated points that affects us, that is, persons with disabilities. See, this is, we look at this issue of social protection and social inclusion. We look at it as a good omen for persons with disability, most especially in Kaduna State. That's why we normally say that when issue concerning us is not discussed and handled by us, we feel that we will be surcharged along the line. But that quarterly meeting now gave us an avenue that we have one-on-one discussion with the participants and the partners. So now they always say that hearing from the horse's mouth is always better. So we call that meeting strategic because it's very, very strategic for us as we discuss articulated issues concerning persons with disabilities.
Okay, a wise man once told me that you cannot shave someone's head in his absence.
Yes, very correct.
So trying to discuss your issues without you being part of it is like attempting to shave your head in your absence. Now, I understand that about a cluster of 7 groups were part of all of this, and that majorly the issues discussed were generally agreed to by the partners and the group involved in it. Now, what would you say is the outlook for the disability community with this now being in place? Does it look bright, good, or shiny, or not good enough? Or generally,
thank you very much. It's a very good development, and it's a shining development for all the PWDs in Kaduna State. All the 7 clusters that are involved in this exercise are fully represented, and issues concerning them were brought out, discussed, and presented to the benefit of all.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Now I'll come back to CARPED now. CARPED, bringing this together. Yes, I know that CARPED is a coalition of people interested in good governance, empowerment, and all of that, social protection, and all of it. How would you score the participation of all of the partners and the disability community in this particular strategic meeting?
This the quarterly strategic meeting was very, very good. Reason being that the key relevant agencies that are driving the process were present, although some of them were not around, but the state operation and coordinating unit, that's the SOCO, the one that is saddled with the responsibility to generate state social register of poor and vulnerable household in Kaduna State, was there present. What does that mean? Is that if as a vulnerable person, and if your name is not being captured in that state social register, it means there's nothing for you. You will not have access to some of those intervention programs that government has placed to uplift the lives and livelihood of the poorest people in Kaduna State. So it was an avenue for them to interact with government, because we feel that if the process is not being driven by this intended people, those vulnerable people, it means there will be something missing out of it. And if they are fully in charge, like the disability community, they are the most coordinated vulnerable groups in Kaduna State because they have a good structure across the 23 local government, which it is easier for them to partner with this community to ensure that all their members across the 23 local government have been captured in the state social register. Before that, because we're meant to understand on that day, because of the number presently now, the Kaduna State government have generated about 524,000 poor and vulnerable households in Kaduna State. Inside that, we have just only 45,311 people that are from the disability community. And if you look at it critically, this community is about 15% of the entire population in Kaduna State. It means there are over 1 million people living with disability community in Kaduna State.
Yeah.
So that number is it's small. And when you are talking about vulnerability, the first thing that comes to your mind is the disability community, because those are people that have been starved with, right? Their rights have been starved. We neglect them. As a matter of fact, the violation of their right begins with their family. So we really need to do something. Government really need to do something in orientating the families and the community to carry the disability along in whatever they are doing.
Carrying along everybody is what Ground Zero will do right now. And open up the phone line 081-40,989 and 070-87-800-989 are the numbers to dial to add your voice to our conversation this evening. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Good evening, and she's and your guest, Pius, calling you from Malali, Kaduna.
All right, Pius, good evening. Quickly, let's have your take in 1 minute.
What that show of shame that took place in the National Assembly is uncalled for. Some people are just trying to manipulate 2023. That is just it. And just consider me, Pius, I'm not part of it. That is it. The second point is that if the MDC don't want journalists to report as they see it, please, they should tell the federal government to fix the problem. That is it. Good evening, Nigerians.
Thank you so much, Pius. Let's take this call. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening. You are welcome to the program.
Yeah, my little contribution will start from, someone wants to refer to Nigeria as a zoo. The best way to present ourselves not to be zoo is for us to ensure that there is no predictor, there is no prey.
Okay.
Having said that, the ruling party is the biggest beneficiary of transparent election in Nigeria. Now they want to kill our democracy. Just like, some former coup plotters who have benefited greatly from democracy never worked for, and they want to kill that democracy. It's quite unfortunate. What is the independency in the INEC today? If NCC will come and begin to monitor and regulate and even be a bigger stakeholder than INEC, we are in a digitalized world. Why are we dragging Nigeria backward? And on the issue of insecurity, not reporting issue of banditries and what have you, like I said earlier on, for us not to be likened to a zoo, because this situation is like you are beating a child and you are saying the child should not cry. God will help Nigeria. On the issue of the disability community, I think that is a welcome development once they are included. And I pray that God will actually grant them their heart desire. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Alex Oshobo. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Good evening, Mr. Hayes.
Good evening. You are welcome to the program.
The Almighty God bless you and your guests in the studio. You are also Engineer Emmanuel.
All right, Engineer Emmanuel, let's have your take.
You see, as they say this, Mr. President is not ready to give us free and credible election come 2023, they and their party. Because I don't see any reason why they will. You see, this has further shown that they have not won election. They always rig elections.
You cannot say that with certainty.
What happened in Edo? Why didn't they allow it to happen in 2023? Let it be transmitted. And some of the APC governors were telling us that they may not be networked. How would they be networked? If not, they have a plan. But God will not allow them to succeed in that their evil plan. Because for me, I look at it as an evil plan to deny people their right.
Okay.
So I just hope they will consider that and do the needful.
All right.
He promised to give us credible election content 23. So let him stand by it. Then concerning them, NBC trying to deny people from knowing what is happening is rather unfortunate. May God bless the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, who allow everybody to criticize him without arresting anybody. Now we see who is real Democrat. The former president is real Democrat. These ones are trying to become an emperor, not a Democrat. That is rather unfortunate.
All right.
We deliver from their hands. Good morning. Good evening.
All right. Thank you, Engineer Emmanuel. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Good evening, Nigeria, and your guest.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Awusko from Nasarawa.
All right, Awusko. In 1 minute, let's have your take.
The disabled are really having it tough in this country. We want our activities streamlined so that life can be made easy for us. Thank you. And also, the senators, we know they are not part of us. They are elite. They are not part of us. They are just for their interest. As for the NBC, the pen will always be mightier than the sword. Nigerians cannot be God. They can never be God.
All right.
This regime will have a face and they go away in 2023. Patriotic Nigerians will come and repair our land for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Awusko. Okay, let's take one more call before we call it a wrap on the program this evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Hughes and the guests and the students.
Good evening, you're welcome
Francis
to the program.
Calling.
Francis.
Yes, honestly, in the part of our National Assembly, it's obvious that the government and their representatives have failed this country woefully. And that is the essence of all these things that is happening. It's only a failure that I think of how to block people from saying something about what is going on. Because if they have not failed, I don't see the reason why a government that came to power through social media and all propaganda things they use against previous administration are now trying to create the Nigerians from speaking their mind. That shows they have failed and they have the agenda against this country. And God and the spirit in Nigeria will not allow them to succeed, no matter where they get their power from. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's quickly take some messages on our Facebook page. We have the first one coming from Yahaya Danjuma saying, "Don't report details of bandit kidnappers again. What do they mean, please?" It's a question that I can't give you an answer to, but from what we've been discussing this evening, probably you'd have an inkling to it. Then we have this other one from Ben Bitrus Jock. He's saying that I love the program. I can't miss it for anything. So Ben Bitrus Jock, thanks. Let's have a thumbs up if you did not miss the program. Okay. And another one coming from Chris Jean Ishaya. He's saying, can't wait till 4 p.m. It's almost 5 now. Hope we're able to tickle your fancy. Let's come back to the studio and quickly take our rounding up. I'll start from Danjuma Abbas Dangwa.
One, I want to say to the NBC and the Ministry of Information that these bandits and terrorists are not on a national assignment for our government, and their antiques and criminality must continually be exposed. And in the best interest of the people who are being served, there is every reason why the Nigerian citizenry should be made abreast of the realities of the day. And about this electoral bill, there is the voices against this is loud. This country belongs to Nigerian citizens and people who are voted into power to hold this representative role of legislation and ensuring that there is the civic space for us to do to participate in government should not undermine the space and the rights that is inalienably that of the Nigerian citizen. Okay. And this particular piece of legislation is one that is targeting to undermine.
Abubakar Adam, your parting word.
Okay. Thank you very much. We from the PWD community, that is persons with a disability in Kaduna State, we want to say categorically that we want every ministry, every government agency that has something to do with the PWDs in Kaduna State to create an avenue, to create a synergy between the PWDs, most especially the umbrella holding the PWDs in Kaduna State and their ministries and departments, so that the PWDs in Kaduna can feel belonged and enjoy the benefit of inclusion.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And to Stephen Wire.
I will say for us as civil society in Kaduna State, we want to see social protection to be effective. And for that to be effective, it means it has to be inclusive, and we should see it as a right for the citizen, not a privilege, irrespective of gender, race, ethnic affiliation. They should be inclusively enjoy the process of social protection policy in Kaduna State.
And running it up, the veteran.
Thank you very much.
By the way, he will be 61 soon.
Looking at the controversial and laughable issue of how the Senate and other members of the National Assembly have handled the issue of electronic transmission, I juxtapose the position of the people that voted and the people that did not vote for and against. You will notice that APC voted against, PDP voted for. Now, those members who took the day, are they suggesting to the Nigerian public that they do not have network in their communities? What is the vote all about? Is it about,
belonging?
No, about trying to, how do you call it now, bend the rules, or about the issue of network? So that must be considered. Why, if you say there's no network, how many of the senators who say that, how many are they? Why is it that every other person voted against electronic result transmission? That is something that we should take home and think about. On the issue of reporting mandatory activities, the NCC or what?
NCC and National Assembly. NBC, rather.
NBC, sorry. And the National Assembly, or even Minister of the they cannot stop journalists from doing their job. They don't expect me to report false. I report facts. When I see facts, I must report it. That is our training.
Yeah. Well, that's about the size of the program today. Hoping that we've been able to bring all of this to you, and you've been able to make an informed decision from all you've had today. For all those that wanted to be part of the program but couldn't, well, on Tuesday would be another time out from 5 to 6 p.m. Between now and then, like always, I appreciate my guest, Eddie Ochibo, veteran journalist and media strategist. Eddie, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Abubakar Adam, Vice Chairman, Joint National Association of Persons with Disability. Thank you for having time to be on Ground Zero.
Thank you very much.
Stephen Wires, Head of Gender and Social Inclusion, Coalition of Association in Leadership, Peace, Empowerment and Development.
Thank you, sir.
And last but definitely not the least, I have Danjuma Abbas Dangwa, also from the Association of Coalition of Association in Leadership, Peace, Empowerment and Development.
Thank you so much, Ehis, for having me.
I am Ehis Admo, and I say a very big thank you to Gilead. Let the drink today, water it and watch it grow. May the good mighty Lord bless and keep us all.